If you're making the minimum on your credit card, you're not paying off debt, you're renting it. In 2026, one completely normal balance can trap you for decades, and the bank is counting on you never doing one piece of math. Take a balance of $8,000 at 24% APR. Pay only the minimum, and you can stay in debt for well over 20 years, sometimes closer to 30, depending on how that minimum is calculated. That is not a budgeting mistake. That's a business model. I know, life is expensive right now. Rent is insane. Groceries still feel inflated even when headlines say inflation cooled. Car insurance looks like a prank. And if your paycheck is getting split between student loans, food, gas, and one emergency after another, that minimum payment can feel like survival. So no, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend every person carrying credit card debt is lazy or stupid. That's nonsense. The system is built to make short-term relief feel responsible. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has repeatedly warned that revolving credit costs hit hardest when rates stay elevated. The Federal Reserve's data on credit card interest rates has shown average APRs above 20%, and many borrowers with weaker credit are seeing 25% to 30% plus offers. So ask yourself, if your savings account at a legacy bank pays 0.01%, but your credit card charges 24.99%, who is this system designed to serve? You or them? This is why the old boomer advice of just be more disciplined is incomplete. Sure, discipline matters massively, but discipline without understanding the machine is like trying to run up a down escalator in dress shoes. You can do it, you're just making it harder than it needs to be. I used to think minimum payments were a harmless fallback. Just keep things current, avoid late fees, buy some time. Sounds reasonable, right? Then I actually ran the math on a friend's card years ago. The balance barely moved. Month after month, almost everything went to interest. That was the moment it clicked for me. The minimum isn't a payoff plan, it's a profitability plan. And the uncomfortable part? Most people never see the full timeline because they don't read the tiny disclosure box. And even if they do, life gets in the way. Kids, rent hikes, a medical bill, one bad transmission. That's how a temporary balance becomes a decade. Stick with me, because the next number is gonna make you angry. Let's break the trap open. Most US credit card minimums are calculated as either a flat percentage of the balance, often around 1% to 3%, or that percentage plus interest and fees, with a floor like $25 or $35. That sounds technical, but the effect is simple. As your balance falls, your payment often falls too, which means your debt doesn't just sit there, it stretches. Think of credit card debt like quicksand. If the APR is high enough, small payments don't pull you out. They just keep your chin above the sand. And minimum payments are designed to do exactly that. Keep the account alive, current, and profitable. Here's a clean example. Say you owe $6,000 at 24% APR. That's about 2% interest per month. In month one, interest alone is roughly $120. If your minimum is 2% of balance, that's also around $120. Read that again. Your payment can be almost entirely interest. The principal, the actual debt, barely gets touched. Now, change one variable. Instead of paying a floating minimum, you pay $200 fixed every month. Nothing heroic, no lottery ticket, no six-figure raise, just a deliberate number. Suddenly, more of each payment starts attacking principal, which lowers next month's interest, which frees up more of the next payment. And now, the snowball finally rolls in your favor. Same card, same person, same income, different math. Whispering, this is the part banks hope stays emotionally invisible. Because a minimum payment feels small, manageable, civilized. But over time, It's the financial equivalent of paying rent forever on something you thought you were buying. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York has shown credit card balances rising again in recent years, and delinquency pressure has been building, especially among younger borrowers. Translation? Millions of people are not failing because they can't do math. They're failing because the product was engineered around human stress. When you're tired, overwhelmed, and one overdraft away from chaos, minimum due feels like a life raft. But it's a life raft tied to the ship that's charging you. And honestly, the real culprit isn't just your spending. It's the combination of high APR, shrinking minimum formulas, and a culture that normalizes carrying revolving debt like it's just another utility bill. So what's the rich way versus the broke way to handle this? The broke way is emotional relief. I made the minimum, so I'm okay. That feels good for a day, then interest reloads the trap overnight. The rich way is mechanical aggression. You stop treating the statement like a suggestion and start treating APR like an emergency. Poor way, focus on monthly payment size. Rich way, focus on total interest and payoff time. Poor way, celebrate staying current. Rich way, eliminate the compounding drag. Poor way, ask, can I afford more this month? Rich way, ask, what fixed amount kills this balance fastest without breaking my cash flow? The difference sounds small. It's not. It's the difference between walking on a treadmill and actually leaving the room. I'll show you exactly how to flip this in 3 steps. But first, one more piece of math nobody talks about. If your APR is 24%, paying off that card is like getting a guaranteed 24% return on your money, because every dollar of principal you eliminate stops future interest from charging you. You are not going to get a safe, guaranteed 24% in a high-yield savings account, or HYSA. You're not getting it in treasury bills. You're not getting it in a broad S&P 500 index fund in a single year with certainty. So why do people treat credit card payoff like it's optional? Why do banks keep marketing rewards points while quietly making billions on revolving balances? Why does no one teach this in school when one spreadsheet could save somebody 5 figures? I had a cousin learn this the hard way. He was obsessed with cashback. Thought he was winning because he got airline points. Meanwhile, he was carrying a balance at over 22% APR. I sat him down and said, "You're collecting pennies while your house is on fire." He laughed, then stopped laughing when we calculated how much interest he was bleeding every year. Now, let me show you the tiny payment change that can erase years of interest without requiring a higher income. Not a miracle, not deprivation, a system. Step 1, stop paying the formula, start paying a fixed kill number. Open your card statement. Ignore the minimum for strategy purposes. You still must pay at least that amount to stay current, obviously. But your real number is the fixed amount that ends the debt on purpose. For many people, that means rounding up aggressively. If the minimum is 143, make it 200 or 250. If it's 78, make it 125. Why fixed? Because fixed payments stop the shrinking payment trap. They force more principal reduction every month. Put the number on auto pay from your checking account the day after payday, not at the end of the month when life has already spent your money for you. Chase, Capital One, Bank of America, and Amex all let you set custom auto pay amounts. Use that. This is not about motivation. It's about removing future negotiation with yourself. Step 2, attack APR before ego. People love dramatic debt stories. I paid off 7 cards in 18 months. Cool. But if one card is charging 29.99% and another is charging 17.99%, your feelings do not change the math. The highest APR card is the leak. That's the bucket with the biggest hole. Patch that first. This is the Avalanche method. You pay minimums on everything else, then throw every extra dollar at the highest APR balance. If you need emotional wins, fine. Use Snowball for a month or 2. But in a 20% plus APR environment, Avalanche usually saves more money and more time. And in 2026, with rates still painfully high for many borrowers, that difference is not academic. It can be hundreds or thousands of dollars. Use a free calculator. NerdWallet has one. Bankrate has one. Plug in your balances, APRs, and current payments. Then increase the monthly payment by just $50. Watch what happens to the payoff date. This is the beyond the obvious lesson. Small payment increases matter more at high APRs because you're not just paying faster, you're interrupting compounding earlier. The earlier you break the interest loop, the more years disappear. Step 3, create one cash buffer so the card stops refilling. This is where most debt plans die. People throw every spare dollar at the balance, feel virtuous, then the tire blows, the dog gets sick, the copay hits, and boom, the card is back. You cannot drain a bathtub while the faucet is still on. So build a mini emergency fund first if you have absolutely nothing. Even $500 to $1,000 in a high-yield savings account at Ally, SoFi, Marcus by Goldman Sachs, or Wealthfront can stop the next emergency from going back on plastic. FDIC insurance protects bank deposits up to limits, and the APY is miles better than a traditional savings account. Then keep hammering the debt. And if your credit is still decent, look at a 0% balance transfer offer carefully. Read the fee, read the timeline, read the go-to APR after the promo ends. A balance transfer is not a cure, it's a window. If you use the window to pay aggressively, great. If you use it to relax, you just move the trap to another room. One more reality check. If you're contributing enough to get your full 401k employer match, good. Keep that match because it's free money. If you're not getting a match and you're carrying brutal credit card debt, wiping out 24% APR is usually the better short-term move before heavy investing. That's not anti-investing, that's respecting guaranteed math. This is where people lose years. Not because they bought one coffee, not because they ordered takeout twice. They lose years because they accepted a payment structure that was never designed to set them free. Minimum payments are the illusion of progress, and illusions are expensive. So do this tonight. Pull up every card. Write down the balance, the APR, and the current minimum. Choose one fixed kill number. Set custom autopay. Build a small emergency buffer, then aim every extra dollar at the highest APR card until it's dead. That's the blueprint. Ever been stuck in minimum payment hell? Share your story in the comments. Someone watching needs to hear it. If this was already worth your time, smash the like. This channel is for people who want to get rich slowly and irreversibly. Subscribe if that's you. This isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about not being broke when it matters. The bank wants you thinking in minimums. I want you thinking in years of your life. Because that's what high-interest debt really steals. Time, options, breathing room. And once you see the math, you don't unsee it. So the next time a statement says minimum payment due, translate it correctly. It means this is the most profitable amount for us and the slowest safe amount for you. Stop renting your debt. Start killing it.